All right, we're back here on the Chase Thomas podcast where I am joined by one of my favorite up and coming. Do I even say up and coming, Coach Hall? Do you feel young? How do you feel at this point in your coaching career? Because I see you as a up and coming name still.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I guess I am kind of a new name on the Division I radar. I'm 41. I'll be 42 here in May. So, but I've been around football my whole life. You know, my dad was a coach. I got dropped off the field house since I was 5, and I went straight into coaching small college ball. I was an offensive coordinator at age 25 at a football powerhouse called Southwest Baptist University up in Bolivar, Missouri. So I got a D2 head job at age 30. And so, you know, in the smaller college ranks, I guess my name's a little more familiar than it is at this level. But I guess I'm kind of in between, Chase. I'm not young anymore, but I'm not old yet. So just trying to get a little bit better every day. I do feel young. I think being old or being young is a mindset, and it's a feeling more than a number. And I'm full of energy. I can promise you that.
Was there a chance you wouldn't be a coach? Was there ever any doubt? Because you're at the field house at 5 years old. I imagine it's pretty hard for you not to get the itch.
Yeah, no, you know, I think we're all somewhat products of our environment, and I'm probably the poster child for that. My dad was my first hero. He's a larger-than-life character in the state of Mississippi. Second winningest coach all time in the state. We moved around. He impacted a lot of communities and a lot of people during his career. He's still alive. He's 67, doing well, in great health. He's retired now, but so he was my first hero. I was 5 years old when I got dropped off, and I've been going every day since. Kind of an interesting nugget, Chase. Joe Burrow's grandmother, Miss Dot Burrow, was my bus driver that dropped me off at the field house every day. Great lady. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Dot Burrow. Dot is a name like that. When you hear Dot, you know it's the South, and you know it's someone who is over the age of 70 years old. There's just there's no young person. I just can't picture a young woman named Dot.
Miss Dot was a great basketball player, and I think it's short for Dorothy, obviously.
There you go.
And yeah, great lady.
Well, how's the offseason going for you, Coach? Are you someone that can enjoy the offseason? Are you do you miss the grind? Do you miss the weekly prep? Like, how do you go through the offseason? How do you handle it?
Yeah, no, Chase, I'm a guy that enjoys life. I enjoy living. I don't want to be the guy that wins and has success and looks back on it later and says, you know what, man, we forgot to enjoy it. So we try to really concentrate on what matters. For us, that is recruiting and football and loving on our players. And if it doesn't have anything to do with those three things, we try to eliminate it and not do it. Where we can still be good husbands and fathers. We just had practice 11 this morning of spring ball, so we've got 4 left. We're in a much better state for this program than we were when we got here. We inherited a program where we played the season at 62 scholarships, so we were very, very short-handed. Most of those kids are back because we were young, and we enrolled 26 newcomers at mid-year. So we're up into the 80s with our scholarships now. We just feel like the overall health and well-being of our program is in a much better situation, and we'll be much improved. We're still going to be young, but Southern Miss is a great place with great history and tradition. They really care. It's a passionate fan base. And, you know, Chase, I know you're at Tennessee there, man. These people here care just as much as the SEC teams. There's just not quite as many of us. I compare it all the time to, you know, a great 2A high school program. The people in those communities, when they win state championships, it means just as much to those people in those communities and those players and those families as it does to a team that's at a 6A program.
Yeah.
There's just not as many people. And that's kind of where we're at, man. Our fan base is unbelievably passionate. They're in it, and we're building this thing back right for them.
Yeah, Mississippi's different too. I mean, it's not even just the football on the high school level. And I grew up Friday Night Lights. We were talking before we got started with Parkview and just getting that and being ingrained in that culture from a young age. But Mississippi's different in that. So you can talk baseball all year long. You got a great baseball program at Southern Miss. Like, a lot of folks don't realize. I mean, Mississippi State just won the College World Series. It's just college is so important to the communities all across the state of Mississippi. And with you growing up around it and you being familiar with it, was that something that was just an easy transition for you when you got this head job? You're like, oh, this is the right fit. And I know how this works in Mississippi. I know what they like. I know where people are interested in.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Chase. This is a job that my wife and I always, when you sit back and it's late at night and you're having a drink and you're dreaming a little bit, this was a job we always hoped that was in God's plan for us. Uh, and it is a little bit of a fairy tale, for
Mhm.
us to get here. We've lived in 9 states. We've moved all around the Southeast to get back to Mississippi and get back to where we know people and we know everything about Southern Miss. We know what it
Mhm.
means to work at Southern Miss. We know what Southern Miss means to this area and to the coast of Mississippi and to South Mississippi especially. We know what it's like to recruit the surrounding area and what those kids mean. We know how important it is for Southern Miss to be good in football,
Mhm.
economically, and for everybody. Man, so that's something we take very serious. We don't want to let people down, and very blessed to be here. Now, look, man, we went down some dirt roads to get here. Like I
Mhm.
said, we coasted Southwest Baptist, Presbyterian College, West Alabama, Arkansas, Monticello. So we've done Henderson State. We've done our tour of duty, my wife and I, to get to here, and but very, very thankful to be here.
What's been the best part about being the head coach at Southern Miss to this point?
Like just being the head coach at a place. I've been a lot of Group of Five places, and Group of Five football has kind of become, uh, from a fan base standpoint, not very followed. You still got all the money and all the stuff in the media and social media, but when you go to a game, there's not very many people at the games and all that because everybody's interested in the Alabamas and LSUs and all that. The great thing about Southern Miss is we're not that way.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of a 3-9, or we were 2-9 going into our last home game this past year, coming off a 3-win season, probably the worst 2-year stretch this school's had in quite some time. And we had 25,000 people at our last home game. You know, uh, when we get this thing back rolling, we'll have over 30,000 packed at the Rock every home
Yeah.
game. So, like I said, it's just a passionate fan base that really loves it. So that's been great. It's been great recruiting here, Chase. It's been great to get back to recruiting high schools where I know the whole lineage, like our
Yeah.
quarterback's Ty Keys and his mom is Miss Stacy Sullivan. And from the moment we recruited Ty, we know that if you're a Keys and you're from Taylorsville and you're a
Mhm.
Sullivan and you're from Taylorsville, you can play. Like there's been a million Sullivans and a million Keys. Well,
Mhm.
that's his mom and his dad, and so there's all kind of situations like that for us here that's unique that you don't always get. And that's been a whole lot of fun to get back to recruiting. And I know every high school coach in the state, a lot of them are like my
Yeah.
uncles. So that's been great too.
That's awesome. I love talking to high school coaches. That's and college and things like that, where it's just you always learn something, and it's just so interesting to know the brotherhood and like how coaches see each other and just the competition. It's just a different vibe. And I think another thing that's interesting with just recruiting and when you're talking about the attendance and things like that at Southern Miss and what you've seen at Group of Five schools, I just wonder how much of it because I'm a pretty staunch opponent of the playoff expansion and just the playoff in general, where I grew up with college football where bowl season was this great thing, and it was just this. It was a nice, beautiful thing, but it was also just about the season. Like college football, the reason I love college football is because of Saturdays. Those Saturdays in the fall, like it's about those rivalries. It's about tuning in. Like you want to see Southern Miss football. You want to see the high octane offense. You want to see them in bowl games because a lot of people grew up around that of like, oh, Southern Miss. Like I remember their offenses. Like that was something that you remember. It's not about the titles. It's not about anything like that. So I think there is just far too much emphasis on winning titles. So when you're talking about Alabama and Auburn and things like that, and Tennessee's about to enter that fray with Nico coming aboard and just what Heupel's doing. But like that's not why I like college football. And I wonder if there's a misstep there with the powers that be about like overlooking what fans actually want. And there are programs that are going to get left behind because everything's just about the playoffs. And like, are you building something that can get to the playoffs and it's about national titles? And it's like college football is unique in that it should never be about national titles. It should be about Saturdays. It should be about the traditions. It should be about the pageantry. It should be about these kids having fun and just the rivalry aspect and just the community aspect. And I worry how much of that is getting lost. I know I just threw a lot at you there, coach, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, Chase, there's a select few schools across this nation that, let's be honest, can compete for a national title year in and year out. And most people are not going to be able to. no matter what the system is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, for us at the group of 5 level, I really don't think this has changed since the beginning of time. I really don't. It's about winning your conference. It's about
Hmm.
getting to a great bowl game. It's about the experience of who you're playing with and who you're playing for. And then
Yeah.
if you're good enough, you've got a chance to move on and play at the next level. And that's what we're getting back to here. We're joining the Sun Belt. We're excited about that. It's a
Hmm.
regionally located conference. It's going to be kind of the SEC of Group of 5.
Yeah.
Great football schools with great history. We're all right here together,
It's a
and
great fit for y'all.
yes, and it's about getting back to winning conference championships, which is going to get you into some type of conversation, whether that be for a great bowl game, which is a great reward, or if the playoff expands, getting into that. But
Hmm.
that's what we can control. And man, college football has always really been that way. No matter what
Hmm.
the changes happen, let's be honest. Your Alabamas, your Ohio States, those guys are going to be in that picture, and it is what it is. But you
Yeah.
can only sign 25 kids a year. You know what I mean? So Alabama can only sign 25. Tennessee can only sign 25. So
Hmm.
that number's not changed. So Group of 5 football is always going to have really good players that are going to be able to move on. We've had 125 players drafted at Southern Miss. We've had
Oh
18
wow.
players play in the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So there's been a lot of great players come through here through the years, and we're getting back to that.
Yeah. Maybe we're different, but it's just like one of my favorite games in this past year was App State Marshall. Like I'm tuning in for stuff like that where I don't care about the implications or anything like that. Like these two teams fought hard. It was a great atmosphere, like App State, Boone, awesome atmosphere. That game was crazy. Like there was a kick return touchdown on that one, but like the note taking, like that was one of my favorite games. So I'm excited with you being at Southern Miss that like it's priority viewing for me where I'm excited to see your offense. I'm excited to see what you're doing where I just want to watch good football and I want to watch entertaining football and I want to just see different schemes. So speaking of your scheme, Will, what makes your specific offensive style so difficult for defenses to defend? What is it about your scheme?
Well, we've always been, a team that wants to establish the run
Hmm.
through, and we're very multiple in how we do that. We always use tight ends, 1, 2, and 3 tight ends. We use multiple running backs. So we're multiple formationally. We're an NFL style run scheme. We run all the schemes. We're not just a simple spread, no huddle, hurry up that
Hmm.
just runs inside zone. That's not us. We're going to run a lot of scheme at you, and we're going to run the quarterback when we can. We're going to sprinkle some wing T in there, which very rarely people see that anymore
Hmm.
because that's, kind of how I grew up and my roots. We're
Yeah.
going to sprinkle some Wildcat in there because we got athletes. We're in Mississippi, man. Everybody puts their best athlete at quarterback. So we've got like 8 kids that play running back, wide out, and DB that were all high school quarterbacks.
Oh wow.
They can throw it and do that. And so, but, when I was a head coach previously in my 6 years, we were able to lead the league in rushing, I think 5 of the 6 years, and then create explosive plays. Our
Hmm.
quarterbacks have always been all conference guys. And we want to be extremely efficient with those guys. And but Chase, I believe, man, that to put a ring on your finger,
Hmm.
you still have to be able to run the football and play great defense. And something I'm proud of is my other 6 years as head coach, we led the league in scoring defense or total defense all 6 years. And this past year, in our first year here, we only gave up 30 defensive touchdowns in 12 games, and 7 of those were to Bama. So we gave up
Hmm.
only 23 in the other 11. And we've really gotten that nasty bunch defensive moniker back here at Southern Miss. And we want to continue to play great defense and be a physical football team.
What was the best thing you learned from Coach Willy Fritz?
Oh, man. Coach Fritz just really validated for me
Hmm.
that you can treat people right and you can do what matters. Don't be afraid to say, you know what? We're not going to do that. I know everybody
Hmm.
else is doing it, but it's stupid. They're just chasing ghosts. We're not going to do that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And, you can only sign 25 kids a year. So, from a wide receiver, cornerback, DB, linebacker, running back standpoint, we're in South Mississippi, man. If we can't find those guys in Mississippi, Louisiana,
Hmm.
Alabama, Panhandle of Florida, like right here around us, then we're probably not doing our job. We don't have to go all across this great country to find a wide receiver when we're in South Mississippi. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't do that anymore. They recruit nationwide no matter what. And you spin your wheels and use a lot of manpower to do that. And you spend a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
And so from Coach Fritz, I just learned, man, have a common sense approach to leadership, and not to say we didn't always do that where we were at, but he validated that you could do it at the Division I level for me. Because I had a lot of ideas that I felt like at a small college level we could transfer over to this level. Coach Fritz really solidified that for me. He's a great man. He's a leader of men. I've got the utmost respect for him.
That's awesome. I've always hoped that he would get just to see him at a Power 5 job. Like, he's just been perpetually underrated throughout his career. The dude just wins wherever he goes, and everybody likes him, it seems like.
Yeah, everybody nowadays wants to win the press conference with a name, but you better worry about winning football games, because after the press conference is over, after that hour's over, all that matters from that point on is winning. And Willy Fritz wins, man. He wins.
He does. What are you most excited about this fall at Southern Miss? What are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about being able to roll the ball out there and being able to compete on a level playing field. Like I said, last year we took the field with 62 scholarship kids. In a year with COVID, normally 85's the scholarship cap. But last year with COVID, you could go over. So we were playing teams with 95 and 100 scholarships, and we only had 62. And we were just really outmanned. And it's an excuse, but it is what it is. This year we'll be on a level playing field. It'll be fair. So I'm excited about doing that. I'm excited about our second year in the program, recruiting kids that, having 2 recruiting classes here and building that up. I'm excited about our culture. We've had 2 of the greatest academic semesters in football history here since we've been here. We're doing a lot of things well, but it's time to be competitive on the field. We ended the year well. We've recruited well, and, we got to get back to winning and get back to going bowl games and being competitive in our conference.
That's interesting. So when you think about last year, though, and you're going back through the tape, it's just things that still sit in your mind. Is there any particular game, moment from last year that you still find yourself thinking about pretty often?
Yeah, the first game of the year, we lost to South Alabama on the road, and just didn't really felt like we didn't put our best foot forward. They kicked our butt. Hats off to them and Coach Womack and their staff, but just really was humiliated about that loss, how we played. We looked unprepared in several areas. That's on me as the head coach. That's not who I am, what I'm about, and what I've been about in my career. And it really showed how far behind we were as a football program from a, numbers standpoint. And it kind of hit home that it was probably fixed to be a really tough year. And what I'm really most proud of after that is at the end of the year, after we had lost all our quarterbacks, I think it's documented, we played like 11 guys that took snaps.
It was insane. That was insane.
We lost all our quarterbacks, and we went to the Wildcat full time and won our last 2 games. And by then we were down in the 50s with scholarship kids due to injuries. And to win those last 2 and those kids stick together really shows, I think, the culture we're building and how they believe in it, how we treat them on a daily basis. And so I was extremely proud of that going into the off season.
What's the quarterback room looking like this spring? Are you excited about it? You feel good about where it's at?
I'm really excited about it. It looks really young, but really talented,
Okay.
And Chase, I'd rather be young and talented than old and not talented. So we've got 2 freshmen that we've signed since we've been here that were the best quarterbacks in the state of Mississippi. Highly recruited kids, both of them. Ty Keys started for us last year and was hurt in game 4, so he was able to redshirt. And then Zach Wilkie early enrolled here in January. And both are extremely talented kids that were highly recruited. They can run and throw. They've got that it factor. So, and then we got an older guy back named Trey Lowe who started for us early in the year, who's a steady Eddie and really understands the system. And so we went from no quarterbacks to 3 that we really feel like can play. And so we're going to be really good there. Now we're going to be young, but we are talented, and we're getting better every day.
Do you think it matters in terms of what Mississippi and Mississippi State do year over year for your program that it helps Southern Miss when just the state of Mississippi, the health of all the college football programs are in a positive state? Is that something that helps that with Leach and with Kiffin doing what they've done to this point? Does that help you sell the state of Mississippi to recruits of like, hey, we win all across the board here? And is there some trickle down effect? I've always been curious about that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the Southern Miss brand is a standalone brand. I think that from a Group of Five standpoint, where we recruit, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to make our hay with Mississippi, Lower Alabama, Panhandle of Florida, Southeast Louisiana. Those kids and those families know who we are and what we're about. And I think maybe from a notoriety standpoint to the average fan, like you said, like how it is in baseball right now, we're all
Yeah.
three really good in baseball. So people know, man, they're playing great baseball in Mississippi. And maybe that
Mm-hmm.
brings more attention, on a television show or something like that. But from a recruit standpoint, I think it's independent. I think kids want to
Interesting.
go to the best place they can go for the best coaches they can play for, where they're going to get took care of. And it's nice if it's close enough to home where their people can be a part of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. Are you a dog or a cat guy, Coach
I'm
Hall?
a dog guy, man, and I love them. I've got two Australian Shepherds.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad's side of the family are all cowboys. And so
Uh-huh.
I grew up going up there, being around them. They always had Australian Shepherds because they're cattle dogs.
Yeah.
Extremely intelligent. So we've got a 6-year-old Australian Shepherd, and we just got another one,
Mm-hmm.
and he is 2 months old. So we've got two of them, man, and we love them. I've got two boys; they're 14 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're full speed.
How would your parents have described you growing up?
uh, I hope that I got. Uh, I hope everybody described me as a very a guy with a big heart. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? I've always tried to impact people in a positive way. It's always mattered to me that if I hurt someone's feelings, that I apologize for that. It's always mattered to me. I'm a lover, man. I hug people. I love people. I tell them I love them. If I mess up, I'm going to tell you I'm sorry. I'm a very open and honest guy. I try to be as real can be, even when people have told me before, dude, man, you're so honest, even when you shouldn't be, and I just believe in that. And I hope my parents are both proud of me for that. I lost my mom, fixed to be 6 years ago, and she was a great leader too. She ran the rehab facilities, nurse all throughout the state of Mississippi, and she was a great leader as well, along with my dad. So
So it runs in the family. I like it.
yeah, my mom's side of the family are all
Mm.
basketball coaches too. They've actually won a bunch of state championships as basketball coaches in the state of
Can you
Mississippi.
play? You good?
I did. I was an all-state
Okay.
basketball player in high school.
Did you? Oh, interesting. Did you enjoy playing basketball more than football?
I did. I enjoy basketball more than football, but I knew I wanted to coach football,
Huh.
and I knew I was undersized, so
Yeah.
I had a chance to beat people with my brain better playing quarterback and football But actually, the story is this.
Yeah.
Here's why I play football instead of basketball. Honestly, is in Mississippi then you had to go to the junior college that you were in their district. Well, my district was Itawamba.
Mm-hmm.
Itawamba did not want me in football, and they did in basketball. And so I got released in football to go to Northwest, but
Uh-huh.
they would not release me in basketball. I was going to play both. And so I had to give up basketball and just play football, which is one of those things we always look back on and see God's plan and everything.
We're not talking right now if you go the other way, Coach Hall. There's no you and I having this podcast right now. That doesn't happen.
I don't know about that.
I don't
But it would
know.
have
We have
definitely
a
been
different.
different.
Yeah, my dad and I have had this exact conversation where I'll tell him all the time, I'm like, no, Dad, because like if you don't do exactly what you did, I don't exist. Like
Yeah.
if you miss one class that you weren't supposed to miss in undergrad at North Georgia, guess what? There's no me. So whatever happened, happened. So that's good. I needed all of that to happen. What about your favorite cheat meal, Coach Hall? What's your go-to? What's your cheat meal?
Well, I'm a big griller.
Okay.
That's my I don't have many hobbies, but that's one of them. So I love I love a steak, Pittsburgh medium rare. Me and my wife, we grill a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, and she does all the sides, baked potatoes, loaded potatoes, hash brown casserole, green beans, all that stuff. So I'm a big griller with steak, chicken halves, all that. I'm also a big Italian guy. I love Italian food, from chicken parm to all of it.
Okay.
So those are my favorites.
Do you have time for hunting and fishing at all?
I don't, but I mean, you can make time for whatever you want, right? But I just can't sit still. I'm a guy that can't. So I can bird hunt.
Uh-huh.
I don't. I really enjoy bird hunting. I do
Okay.
because you can walk and talk. I
Hmm.
don't do it a lot, but I enjoy it. I'm not against squirrel hunting, but I can't sit in a deer stand and wait on a deer. I can't fish at all, man. I can deep sea fish because you
Uh-huh.
can move around and talk,
Yeah.
but I can't sit on a lake and try to catch bass and catfish. I just can't. I can't sit still that long.
So you're not going to be a lake house guy when you retire. You're not going to.
Now
You're
I'm
not
a
going to.
beach guy. I'm a beach
Okay.
guy and a lake house guy, and
Okay.
I can go to the lake and go to the beach and have a good time with anybody. But we've got to
Mm.
be moving around and maybe have a cold beverage in our hand.
That's interesting. Because it seems like lake houses is just like so many coaches' oases. Like it's just there's so
Yep,
many.
it's fun stuff.
Yeah. What is the weirdest quirk your family would say that you have?
Oh man, probably that.
Mm.
I'm ADD to the extreme before they knew what it was. I mean, I can't sit still. I can't. I've got. If my wife was here, she would tell you that I've got to be doing 2 to 3 things at once. If we're watching
Yeah.
a movie, I've got my iPad out and I'm watching a recruit at the same time, or I'm watching film, or I've got my notebook out and I'm thinking about a few thoughts for the next day's staff meeting. I'm
Uh-huh.
never just doing one thing at a time.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie of all time, Lonesome Dove. It's a mini
Okay.
series, but a big Lonesome Dove guy. Matter of fact, we named our new puppy Gus after Captain Augustus McCrae. Off that movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's real there.
yeah.
I like it. Have you been to the Skunk Bowl or any of the big games in Mississippi since you've been back? Like, how does it, like, how many times are you able to go to Friday Night Lights and go check out a lot of the cool rivalries and stuff like that across Mississippi?
Yeah, so I'm familiar. The Skunk Bowl
Yeah.
being Baldwin Boonville.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So my family, my dad and mom both graduated from Baldwin High School.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my uncle is the head basketball. Or my second cousin. He's like my brother. My uncle was the head coach there. He's retired, and now my second
Uh,
cousin is the head basketball coach at Baldwin High School. So I've been there many times, and
mhm.
we lived in Boonville for a little while too. So I know all about Boonville Baldwin. Man, the Eat Dirt rivalry with Pearl Brandon and Taylorsville Mize. All the rivalries in the state. Amory Shannon, Calhoun City Bruce.
Mm.
I can go on and on and on. With that. I'm a Mississippi football historian. I started reading
Yeah.
the newspapers when I was 5 years old with my dad in the morning, and so that's me, man. Mississippi high school football is my life.
Is there a game on your calendar for this fall that you have circled that means more to you at the moment, or are you just like, I'm excited to see what our team looks like against this opponent? Is there one game right now for you?
Yeah, I know it sounds cliche, but game one versus Liberty.
Yeah.
That's just a big game for us. We feel like we were dealt a hand we had to play last year, and we played it to the best of our ability, but we were embarrassed about what it looked like, whether it was our fault or it wasn't. A lot of it was our fault. Some of it wasn't.
Mm.
And just excited to get this thing going and for it to start looking like what we know a college football program is supposed to look like. Now, we're not fixing to go 12-0 this year, okay? But
Yeah.
we are going to look like a college football program this year. And that's the way it's going to be forever and ever moving forward.
I don't know. Let's not rule out 12-0, coach. You got to play the games. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
12-0 is a possibility.
Yeah.
We still got to play the games.
That's right.
We'll end on this. You get a rare day off. You can do whatever you want outside of pacing around the facilities. I know, I'm amazed. Like I feel great that you stayed for this podcast. Now that I know you, you're just you're moving around. You like to move around. I appreciate you doing this today. But you get your rare day off, Coach Hall. You can do whatever you want. No, you don't have to worry about any recruiting video, no iPad, no whatever. What do you do?
Yeah, me and my wife, if we get some time off, we're headed to the
Mhm.
beach as soon as possible. We're big
Okay.
panhandle people, whether that from Pensacola all the way to Panama City Beach and Destin, everything in between. We go to all of them a lot. We're big Key West people.
Okay.
So we're going to get down to the beach, get down to the sun and the water as quick as we can, as much as we can.
I like it. Have you been to Pineapple Willie's? Are you a Pineapple Willie's guy?
We have been to Pineapple Willie's many times. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Coach Hall, this has been great. Thank you so much. How do the good folks support the program for the local Southern Miss listeners who will be tuning in for this one? How do they support your program and what you and your staff have got going on this year?
Oh man, like we tell everybody, man, just be here.
Mm,
Let's come to the games, be a part of it, and don't be at be here. We're doing our part every day to recruit and work and sell. The number one thing you can do to help Southern Miss, if you want to help Southern Miss, is be at the games, be at the tailgate. When we bring recruits on campus, let them see how passionate and how great things are here and how much it matters here.
there you go. Coach Hall, good luck this spring. And then we'll have to reconnect soon. This was a lot of fun. So I greatly appreciate it.
I enjoyed it, Chase. Thank you so much, man. At the Group of Five level, anything we can do to sell our program and what we're doing, we want to do because we got great kids here that are doing some awesome stuff. So I really appreciate you and look forward to doing it again.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.